Now at 11, suing the city, the federal government and the mayor set to face off in court. The legal fight over immigration laws just days after a Border Patrol agent was shot. But we start tonight with a tragedy out of New Jersey. A 4-year-old killed while crossing the street. Family members also hit in the desperate efforts to save them. That is where we're starting tonight at 11 o'clock. I'm Natalie Pascarella. David is off tonight. The victims of that crash in Oakland, New Jersey, a mother, her infant, and 2 young children, all hit by a car in a crosswalk. News 4 followed the investigation on the ground and in the air. Reporter Checky Beckford live at the scene tonight with more on what happened. Checky, before and after the crash that ended a little boy's life.
Yeah, Nat, just 4 years old, a family member tells us that little boy was leaving the doctor's office, had just left the doctor's office with his mother and 2 siblings. They were in this crosswalk here behind me when witnesses and police say an SUV coming around the corner slammed into them.
I heard the screaming. And it was horrible.
The horrifying scene played out in the small town of Oakland, New Jersey. Witnesses say a mother and her 3 young children had just left the pediatrician's office just before 4 p.m. when they were struck by this Acura SUV on Ramapo Valley Road near Oak Street. This witness, who was feet from the family, does not want to be identified, but describes the mother holding a 9-month-old baby girl while 2 younger children walked beside her. A family member says the boys are 4 and 5. The witness says the 4 had the red light when the SUV, traveling at what he describes as full speed, made a left from Oak Street, slamming into them.
I had just pulled into my office parking lot, and I heard her, and she was screaming, "My babies, my babies."
Kathleen Pope says several people, including doctors from the office, rushed to the family's aid.
That staff of the pediatrics clinic, every single one of those doctors ran out there. They grabbed gloves, and they were on it. They left the entire office empty.
But the Bergen County Prosecutor's Office says one of the children died. A family member says it was the 4-year-old boy. The 2 other children and mother were also injured.
We all started from the office to kind of walk over, but a gentleman got there before me. He came back, a grown man, crying. And he said, "Do not go over there, it's bad."
The devastating tragedy shaking this community.
My heart is broken. Things like this don't happen.
The driver of the SUV stayed on scene so far. No word on charges. There have been no charges announced in this crash. Meanwhile, the Bergen County Prosecutor's Office and the Accident Task Force are handling the investigation. In Oakland, Checky Beckford, News 4, New York.
Checky, thank you. We go to the Bronx. Police investigating a near drowning there. This happened around 5:45 tonight at a home there on Woodhull Avenue. News 4 was over the scene when officers responded to the home with that backyard pool you see. Police say a 2-year-old boy was taken to Jacoby Hospital in critical condition. At this point, we don't have any word on his status. In just about 12 hours, parts of the tri-state will be under an extreme heat warning. Temperatures set to top 90 degrees. We're also facing a severe weather risk in the form of strong storms out there. Meteorologist Janice Tuff timing it all out for us, Janice.
Hi, Natalie. Yes, in terms of the storms, we're tracking those and keeping track of those with a cold front that's off to our north and west. Flood warnings back in parts of Missouri, but we can see some thunderstorms near Cleveland and Buffalo that are closer to our area, moving across the eastern Great Lakes. Eventually, we'll see that line in here later on tomorrow. Feels like temperatures right now, 86 in Erie, 84 in Pittsburgh. So it's warm everywhere except here in the Northeast. It's not too bad. Feels like 85 in Newark, but in most areas it feels like the 70s. But tomorrow, this is what we get hit with. 100-degree plus heat index numbers. That's what it'll feel like in the afternoon tomorrow. That's why we have the heat alerts, advisories, and warnings in effect for this extreme heat that, thank goodness, will just last the one day. The severe weather risk, a level 2 out of 5 for possibly hail and damaging winds. A lot of that will be coming in the afternoon during the afternoon and evening commute, and then things clear out. I'll let you know if more rain is expected this weekend coming up in the 10-day forecast. Natalie, back to you.
Janice, thanks. We'll see you soon. I want to talk about the escalating legal battle between the Department of Justice and New York City over sanctuary city laws. In a newly filed lawsuit, the federal government claims that the city's immigration policies have allowed dangerous criminals to roam the streets and commit dangerous crimes within the community. News 4's Chris Jose following the developments live outside of Gracie Mansion tonight. Chris.
Natalie, the mayor, NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch, and other key leaders are named in this lawsuit. We came over here to Gracie Mansion tonight to get a response from the mayor, but he did not take any questions. Tonight, Mayor Eric Adams at a Peruvian heritage reception inside Gracie Mansion, appearing jovial despite a DOJ lawsuit filed hours earlier. The Department of Justice suing Adams and New York City over its sanctuary city laws. Attorney General Pam Bondi says New York City has released thousands of criminals on the streets to commit violent crimes against law-abiding citizens due to sanctuary city policies. If New York City won't stand up for the safety of its citizens, we will. The lawsuit coming just days after an off-duty Customs and Border Protection agent was shot in a botched robbery at Fort Washington Park, leaving him severely injured. The DOJ writing in the suit, just this week, New York City's sanctuary policies have reaped tragic consequences. The suspects, Christian Abar Barrera and Miguel Mora Nunez, now facing federal charges of the shooting, both in the country illegally, according to prosecutors, and previously arrested multiple times. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem with strong words on Monday.
There's absolutely zero reason that someone who is scum of the earth like this should be running loose on the streets of New York City.
Mayor Adams has said he agrees with President Trump that there should be more cooperation with federal law enforcement when it comes to criminals, but the city council has refused to change those laws. Mayor Adams in a one-on-one with News 4 this week.
I have control on coordinating when we apprehend someone, they serve their time, and communicating to have them removed from our country.
The mayor tonight not taking questions, saying in a statement, "We support the essence of the local laws put in place by the city council, but have also been clear that they go too far when it comes to dealing with those violent criminals and have urged the council to re-examine them." A council spokesperson responding to the DOJ lawsuit, Pam Bondi may want to distract from reality, but the facts are clear. The evidence consistently shows that cities with sanctuary laws are safer than those without them. The mayor's office and city council now reviewing the lawsuit, which was filed in New York's Eastern District. We're live outside Gracie Mansion tonight. Chris Jose, News 4 New York.
Chris, thank you. Now to the death of an American icon, professional wrestling legend Hulk Hogan. He was the face of wrestling for generations of fans, using his biceps, what he called his 24-inch pythons, to shred T-shirts. Hogan, whose real name was Terry Bollea, made a transition to Hollywood, starring in movies like Rocky III and Mr. Nanny. Hogan suffered a possible cardiac arrest, his manager saying he was surrounded by family at the time of his death at his home in Clearwater, Florida. He became a pro wrestler in the 80s, going on to be one of the biggest wrestling stars in the world. We're talking about Hulkamania taking over the industry. We caught up tonight with some folks at Zonk's Pop Culture World in Little Ferry, New Jersey, about Hogan's impact.
If you were to see the name Hulk Hogan, you would know exactly who that is, even if you're not a fan of pro wrestling.
And it's very sad in this industry as well, because Hulk Hogan's like everybody's big guy. He's like a Michael Jordan.
When you say wrestlers, like top 10 wrestlers, it's always going to be Hulk Hogan.
Workers at the collectibles stop Shore say that they've been getting calls nonstop with requests to buy Hogan memorabilia. Hogan was inducted in the WWE Hall of Fame back in 2005. Well, we now know the name of a woman who police say killed her son's girlfriend in the Bronx. Naida Jorge now charged with murder and manslaughter after Princesa Encarnacion Soto was found stabbed and beaten in the stairwell of Jorge's apartment building. Now, sources say her boyfriend was last seen on surveillance video leaving the building in Fordham Heights. Police are looking for him tonight still, and it is not clear whether he'll be charged in connection to the killing. New at 11 tonight, an NTSB report points to underinflated tires and unused lap and shoulder belts as significant factors in a deadly bus crash on I-84. You might remember a high school band director and a chaperone were killed. 41 teens were hurt. That's when that charter bus ran off the road in Orange County. This was back in September of 2023. The bus was taking high school students from Long Island to band camp upstate. The NTSB now says the bus driver lost control when the front tire on the driver's side failed, adding that the only person not ejected was a student who was wearing a lap shoulder belt in the front of the bus. Now, New York law now requires those belts on all charter buses and requires them to be used. We go to Florida, where Jeffrey Epstein's close confidant, Ghislaine Maxwell, will face another day of questioning tomorrow by a top Justice Department official. Maxwell's attorney talked with reporters late today outside of the prison where she's serving her sex trafficking and abuse sentence.
Ms. Maxwell answered every single question. She never stopped. She never invoked a privilege. She never declined to answer. She answered all the questions truthfully, honestly, and to the best of her ability.
Now, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche did not talk with the reporters today. He said he would do that at an appropriate time. The renewed focus on the Epstein case comes amid the uproar in Washington about President Trump's ties to the reputed sex trafficker and the DOJ's decision not to release the grand jury testimony about its Epstein investigation. You'll remember Epstein died by suicide at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Lower Manhattan after his arrest in 2019. Former Long Island Congressman George Santos has until 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon to surrender to federal prison officials. He is set to begin serving his sentence for his federal corruption convictions. Santos facing up to 7 years and 3 months in prison. He pleaded guilty to charges of wire fraud and aggravated identity theft, and that was all related to his 2022 congressional campaign. We still have a lot ahead tonight at 11, an I-Team exclusive. Did a sex offender get a sweetheart deal? Why survivors say the DA went too easy on a serial rapist doctor who admitted to recording videos as he violated his unconscious patients. Then later on, you'll want to stop what you're doing and take a good look at this doorbell cam video. Yeah, it has people across the country asking, what is that?
And on day 2 of training camp around the NFL, the Jets already face a quarterback crisis. And a Giants former top draft pick looks at his stats from last year and says, not good enough. That's all ahead on News 4 at 11.
Well, tonight, a group of sex crime survivors is slamming the Queens DA for a plea deal they say lets a serial rapist off easy. The I-Team has been reporting on this case for years. A doctor accused of video recording unconscious women as he raped or sexually abused them. Now, as Chris Glorioso reports, some of his survivors say there are multiple rapes caught on video that he still hasn't fessed up to.
You also have the right to present witnesses in your...
When Dr. Ji Allen Chang pleaded guilty last month to raping or sexually abusing 8 women and video recording many of the crimes, Queens DA Melinda Katz wrote this: "We hope the guilty plea allows all the victims to continue to heal." Now, in exclusive interviews with the I-Team, some of Chang's victims say that plea deal is causing them more pain. These 3 women who say Chang drugged them and sexually violated them are now blasting the deal with the DA because it drops dozens of charges, including 9 counts of predatory sex assault, each of which carried a max sentence of life in prison. Instead, the DA is recommending 24 years behind bars, which could free the 35-year-old doctor before he turns 60.
You have this obligation to, victims of crime, and you're just like letting people off lightly like this. Why?
There are a lot of women, and I think he deserves more years.
It's not just the time in prison that concerns these survivors. They also point out the plea, as it was discussed in court, makes no mention of multiple videos found on Dr. Chang's digital devices allegedly showing him sexually assault other women who've never been identified in places like Westchester County, Manhattan, Las Vegas, San Francisco, and Thailand. 2 years ago, the DA herself urged the public for tips.
It's important that people reach out to us so that we can make the identifications.
And this is an international mystery, right?
Nicholas Liakis represents several victims of Dr. Chang who are now urging the judge to reject the plea deal. He said he can't understand why the Queens DA, with so much video evidence, would cut any deal without forcing Chang to name every unknown victim.
You have a hammer over this person's head. All of the evidence you can imagine in a criminal case, you have it hovering over him, and they really didn't get much in return. And I don't think the public has been fully served by this, for lack of a better term, sweetheart deal.
Queens DA Melinda Katz declined the I-Team's request for an interview and did not answer several specific questions about the plea deal. Her office did send us a statement saying all 8 Queens victims were initially content with the plea, adding, Ji Cheng is a predator with a medical degree who was responsible for some of the most egregious conduct we have ever seen committed by someone who took the Hippocratic Oath. Our investigators and prosecutors spent hundreds of hours painstakingly reviewing thousands of files to build a strong case, which resulted in a plea that includes a substantial prison sentence. The statement does not address the other videos allegedly showing rapes of unknown victims. Dr. Cheng's attorney also declined to talk about those videos. With regard to any uncharged crimes, he said, we cannot comment.
Should the DA demand that Dr. Cheng tell what he knows about these other videos?
Definitely. Definitely.
We didn't get answers for everyone as to what exactly happened. I feel like a lot more could have been done on the part of the DA.
He is getting off light. He can kind of rebuild his life because he's fairly young.
Another reason these women now oppose the plea deal, they say it serves to protect Cheng's former hospital, New York Presbyterian Queens, because the plea makes no mention of how Cheng obtained the sedatives he was accused of using to drug patients and other victims. They're now suing the hospital, alleging lax oversight allowed Cheng to prey on unconscious women.
They were harboring a rapist in their hospital.
Spokespersons for New York Presbyterian and for the Queens DA both said the hospital played no role in any aspect of the Dr. Cheng plea agreement. Cheng is scheduled to be sentenced at the end of August. Some of his survivors expecting to be in the courtroom to ask the judge not to accept this deal. Chris Glorioso, News 4 New York.
Now we want to talk Storm Team 4 and this extreme heat, Janice, that is on the way.
That's right. Hot and stormy tomorrow, Natalie. Right now, though, at Seaside Heights, New Jersey, Earth Cam showing some people enjoying the boardwalk there tonight. Weather is beautiful outside, especially if you're near the shore or north and west of the city. It's relatively cool, but we have extreme dangerous heat tomorrow as temperatures and humidity spike. That's the one day. Severe storms also will follow that heat later in the afternoon, but when we get into the weekend, the temperatures drop. So does the humidity a bit on Saturday. We're at 85. Storms are back on Sunday, but only a high of 80. They'll be scattered around. Temperatures right now generally are in the 70s from Monticello to Bridgeport to Belmar. 80 in the city right now, though, so holding on to the heat. 83 in Newark. Watch the hour-by-hour temperature and feels like temperature tomorrow morning. 78 in the city, feels like 82. By lunchtime, 92 will feel like 101. And then into the afternoon by, say, 3:30, 95. That's the high for tomorrow. Will feel like 106. We'll come close to records in the area tomorrow, too. And then that's when the thunderstorms start to roll through the area. Not all of us will see big storms tomorrow, but where you get one, you could get thunder, lightning, big hail, and also damaging winds. So we'll watch that through the evening commute as they head down the shore. Severe weather, yes, there is a level 2 out of 5 risk, so that has been elevated since yesterday, and that includes the 5 boroughs, too, and the shore areas. Your storms will probably not come until the afternoon, late afternoon and evening, but keep an eye out. Be prepared to move into a safe place indoors as soon as you see dark skies or you hear thunder. It will be hot at the Jersey Shore tomorrow and stormy in the evening. We also have an air quality alert in effect across parts of New Jersey, the city, Long Island, Connecticut, and the lower Hudson Valley. It was pretty hazy today, too. 76 is our low tonight, so it stays pretty mild, pretty warm in some areas as the humidity continues to rise. Tomorrow's high temperature is 95, but it feels about 10 degrees hotter than that, well above 100 in the afternoon, and then we get those strong thunderstorms in the afternoon. They will be over with by late tomorrow night. They'll exit 74. It's still a little sticky side a little bit, and temperatures aren't nearly as hot on Saturday, 85 degrees. Humidity comes down a tad. All right, we take you to the exclusive 10-day forecast, and you'll notice by Sunday we're only at 80, but thunderstorms are possible then as well. Then it heats back up all over again on Monday. Temperatures near 90, 92 on Tuesday. Natalie, back to you.
Okay, Janice, thank you. Still to come, did a Ring doorbell cam capture a creature from out of this world? You'll see for yourself next. Back now with some dramatic new video out of Milwaukee when an SUV hit a cyclist. Before we show you this, just know the man did survive the collision. But the surveillance footage shows the black SUV run a red light. You saw it right there. Wow, slammed into the cyclist there in the bike lane. The driver of the SUV took off. Police say the driver was on a video call at the time. He's since been arrested, faces a lot of charges. The victim, though, unbelievably, after seeing that, is expected to be okay. And we have some new video tonight out of California. We want you to keep your eye on the lower right-hand part of your screen. Wait for it. Did you see that? A Compton woman said her doorbell cam recorded something. You see it there? Or someone strange outside of her home last month in the wee hours of the morning. She's convinced it's an extraterrestrial. Other people think it could be a bird, an animal, even a very short person. I don't know. What do you think there? The woman posted the video on her Instagram account. She said her son told her to call police, but she didn't. She said they would have thought she was crazy. Well, what do you think? Let us know. We'll be right back.
The Spectrum Sports Desk is brought to you by Spectrum. Get fast and reliable speeds on the network that moves with you. Spectrum.
Well, the Jets sure are breathing a sigh of relief at this moment. The toe injury to Justin Fields, not feared to be significant, but that doesn't change the panic that ensued at Jets camp and all over social media this morning when the quarterback was carted off the field. This is video of practice this morning before Fields was injured, when everything was good. Head coach Aaron Glenn believes he was stepped on by a teammate. After further testing, the Jets say Fields suffered a dislocated toe in his right foot. That's not nothing, but he's listed as day-to-day. The team adding he has avoided serious injury and is not expected to miss significant time.
When anybody goes down, there's a lump in my throat. Listen, I hate injuries for any player, and I understand how this league is, and I understand how social media starts to take over and everybody starts to panic. Listen, I understand the outside noise, and again, like I said yesterday, I understand how the fans went. I understand what you guys go through, but it's really early. It's really early, and we have a lot of time.
Thank goodness for that. The Giants' offense is a work in progress. They're going to need a lot of time. The defense, however, could be something special, especially the pass rush. Rookie Abdul Carter already turning heads, paired with Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau. They have the potential to live in opponents' backfields. Speaking of Thibodeau, he's coming off a down season, but sounds motivated to put last year behind him.
Definitely one of my goals is to finish. Like I said before, I had 5.5 sacks last season. I had 5 half sacks, which equates to 2.5, and probably would have been, you guys can do the math, maybe 7 or 8 if I would have finished those. So just making sure that I get everything I deserve this year.
I'm glad he did the math, because I don't want to be bothered with that. Put it this way, he knows he needs to be better. Expect him to get there. Around here, baseball gets the night off. The Mets face the Giants in 6 of their next 9 games, starting tomorrow in San Fran. They, of course, lead the NL East by a half a game on Philly. And the Mets hope the Yankees can do them a solid and take a few from the Phillies over the weekend. With the Yanks off tonight, the Blue Jays leading the AL East. In Detroit, tied at 1 in the 6th, Ernie Clement wallops a hanging slider over the fence for a 3-run shot. 4 pitches later, it's Joey Loperfido making it back-to-back. 11-4 Toronto, the final in this one. Battle between 2 of the best teams in the American League. So the Blue Jays now lead the Yankees by 4.5 games. Trade deadline's a week away. If the Yankees are looking for an impact bat, they might not have to look any further than Scranton. Spencer Jones, whose name has appeared in trade rumors, continues to mash, belting not 1, not 2, but 3 home runs this afternoon. He leads all of the minor leagues with 29 homers. In fact, in 19 games at AAA, the Yankees' number 4 prospect's hitting a cool 400 with 13 bombs. At 6'7", he's been described as a left-handed Aaron Judge. 2 Judges in the same lineup. Yeah, the Yankees would sign up for that for sure. We'll be right back.
Okay, Janice, getting ready for the heat tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a struggle to stay cool in this heat, but it's one day, thank goodness, and hopefully you have AC. I know not everybody does, but maybe there's a cooling center near where you live or your neighbor has AC. 95 tomorrow, feel like 105. Storms in the afternoon that could be severe, less hot over the weekend.
Okay, Janice, thanks, and we thank you so much for joining us for News 4 New York at 11. We have the Tonight Show up next, and Today New York starts at 4:30 a.m. Have a great night, stay safe tomorrow, and we'll see you soon.